Don't have it. Maybe we invite Lutfan and Takashi to the stage. To the stage. To the front. Yeah. There's mic. Mau napas dulu. Takashi, please. In the center. Lutfan also. So we will have a little small discussion, small talk after the performance. Mau napas dulu? Gak usah langsung? Shall we? Yeah, okay. The talk, Lutfan will moderate the talk. Please.
Thank you, friends from Jogja and all other places. So, thank you Takashi for the wonderful performance. Thank you. Maybe every experiences of this performance, of course, it will be subjective, and maybe I myself personally admire the craftsmanship and the discipline of your filmmaking, Takashi, and how you can superimpose the images there. So maybe I will start the discussion of why this form from the history of your artistic practice. And maybe you can give them the background of your education, and then your work experience, and then how you found this. Or maybe if you can share the methods of this production. Thank you.
Hi, thanks for coming tonight, and that's fun. It takes a long time, but I try to tell about my activity very shortly. Because I graduated the Nihon University Department of the Cinema, and I graduated filming and processing and sound recording, kind of technical course. And after that, went to meet the Clay Brothers in London to study about how to collaborate with a musician and how to make a very organic images, lighting. But after come back to Japan, I had no time and I have no money about making a 60mm film by myself. It was very expensive and difficult moment. And then I started to make a paper collage, a lot of paper collage, more than 2,000 collages. And then I learned about the method of collage from the Max Ernst, the German surrealist artist, and he wrote about the method of the collage very clearly. And then I realized maybe I can use this same method to superimpose and layering images by using film. And then I tried to make the images which many things existing all together, but not fighting, but create new things. So, for example, the first film, it's two exposure film and taking camera, rewinding and shooting. And the reason why I selected the kind of wire and water is because they are very different. And then mix everything on the film, and each of them still surviving and like a collaboration and create new things, like makes a fire from the fridge. And so this is why I showed it tonight. That film is very understandable to everybody what I'm doing. And the next one, and in my life I made more than 42 short films before. So today I selected the second film, is Still in Cosmos, because that film is related with the Tokyo Metropolitan Museum of the Photography. They asked me about the is make an experience which you can beyond the watching experience. And then I made that film and showed at the art museum, and it was kind of yeah, you can imagine. It was so loud. Yes, but I tried my best. That was my first installation work first, because until the 2007 I only made films, and then 2008 the museum asked me please to make an installation, and I said no. I don't like video installation because the people can enter the venue all the time, and I cannot organize, I cannot do a proper presentation to the audience. So I said no to them, but they keep asking me, so maybe I try, but and I decided the whole of the part of the film is full of energy, keep. So I imagine if somebody comes to middle of the film, people's experience is not so different. So that was my solution. But now when I'm watching that film, I feel I was young, very young.
It happens.
It was 15 years ago. Yes. And about space noise. Yes, space noise is, I hope everybody can find the effect. That is, why I'm using that effect to this effect to the performance, because I from 2001 until 2012 I worked for the film archiving. I was a colorist, scanning the film and makes the color, and sometimes working for the film archiving from national TV, and also the very bad footage from the World War I and World War II. And I found, I scanned all of them from the national NHK, national TV program company. And I realized how propaganda image is horrible and terrible and ugly. And I was so surprised because it was completely, I thought completely that kind of propaganda image is completely opposite from the art and art film. So, and my dream or my goal is I'm showing some images on the one screen, and if people, everybody think about different things, and or will be beautiful situation, and that kind of film is really standing in completely opposite side of the propaganda, stupid commercial movies. So that's why, and people, everyone can see can create your own movement from if we using that filter. That's why I'm using that effect. Yes. I found that accidentally when I did a research about 3D images. Once I tried to make a very normal 3D film, but it was not interesting because I have to decide everything. This part is this depth, this part is this depth. So you have to decide the 0 point and minus and plus and edit. And it means it controls the image's movement, and I have to organize everything before audience watch the film. So I didn't like that. But the effect we used today, proofread effect, it happens not in front of our eye, but inside of our brain. And that's why I have it very interested. And I just tried using that filter when and watched my film, and I found it works. And because my film is it was not moving images, because normally moving image is previous image and second image, and everything is similar face, similar shape, and change a little bit like this. normally images like this, but this image is totally no relationship with before and after. So the image and image keep changing 30 times in a second. So we cannot follow, and if we just make some kind of delay of the brightness, the brain try to organize what's happening. So that's why that happening.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you. Mungkin maybe yeah, I think it's very noble mission about Takashi that search for to stimulate the perception and the thought process about how we perceive images. I think it's very noble. Thank you. Takashi. Maybe of course Takashi said that the film will be very subjective experience to different members of audiences. Maybe you want to ask some question or share your impressions about the film. Please do if you want. Or you can share your experience in bahasa Indonesia. It's okay. Maybe.
Bahasa Indonesia mal?
Ya. Pilih sama, pilih sini aja bisa ya. Indonesia dan English. Bayarnya double dong.
Biar gimana Bapak? Fun.
Mau nanya ke halo. Mau nanya ke Mas Lutfan. Lama kan kamu bilang kalau emang pasti subjektif karena dia nggak kayak film-film biasa yang ada narasinya gitu. Aku mau nanya apa yang ada di pikiranmu sama apa yang kamu rasain pas ngeliat filmnya Takashi.
Langsung gimana nih?
Ceria gitu. Dan buat Takashi.
This is for you.
Dan buat Takashi, ada nggak yang pernah kamu tanya apa perasaan dan di pikiran mereka melihat gambar dan film itu? Terus jawaban itu yang membuat kamu paling kaget atau paling aneh? Dia punya perasaan dan pikiran itu.
Impression, the weirdest impression.
If you ever ask any audience about the experience of the film and then you found the answer is, oh, it's new, it's unique. Can you share any?
Or impress you?
Or impress you? Their experience when watching your film. Have you ever found one that is bizarre or unique? That surprised you really? Oh, you see my film like that?
What they think or what they feel?
It happens every time after the screening, and I like listening what you feel and what did you see.
But you can share any quotes or any experience that they tell you. Oh, it's very unique.
It's on each viewers. I don't dominate the imagination of the audience. That is the very most important part. And also difficult thing is when I make a film, I always try to make common memory or something we can feel the deja vu. Maybe I so that before. So always try to find that kind of object or action. But we try to beyond the
Ini nonton Nelfonin orang ngobrol berdua.
Thank you, Takashi. Yeah,
Makasih ya.
to answer Amal, the question for me, of course, I started following Takashi's work from 2018 from Archipel, and then when I think what fascinates me about the film is his craftsmanship, or his discipline about the image and how the images are maybe give something. Remind me something of how chaotic the world is, and how Takashi also makes a film about cosmos. And then how, of course, kalau teman-teman, if you've already visited the Katamsi's exhibition for Jovis, in the second floor we can see one of Takashi's work on generation and corruption. That one work starts from the Aristotle quotes on generation and corruption, and how, of course, the film. This is my reading. How we can saw the landscape of water, and how the shape, how landscape. Tokyo's landscape is depicted in that film, and then how it superimposed, like Takashi said, 30 images in 1 second, and how our brain can make other comprehension about the images. I think it's very visceral experience. But inside, when we look deeper, we can see his discipline and his craftsmanship and his excavation on the medium and the images itself in one visual gift for us. I think that is my experience. Jadi mungkin sangat subjektif, tapi aku bisa merelasikan kekewasan image itu menjadi apa yang memang kuncinya juga. Kalau aku pribadi juga merelate dengan judul-judulnya ya. Itu pasti punya beban ya, yang bisa kita baca secara reflektif, atau lebih mungkin kalau di kasusnya on generation and corruption di Katamsi itu lebih ke bagaimana pemikiran Barat itu bisa di counter dengan image-image yang dihadirkan Takashi ya. Itu personal aja sih. Mungkin itu. Maybe silakan Sakit.
Hi, makasih. This is a subjective experience, like what I see with the last video. I just imagine like what really happened in the sun, the nuclear reactor, the biggest in the world, and because it's in vacuum, there's no sound, like maybe like a 30 image per minute, but without sound, and so crazy. And that's why I want to ask you about the significance of the sound itself in these works, because for us the sound itself like so strong, and the image like the duality of this is important. But for you as a visual, working with the visual, what the significance of the sound? Because myself, most of my videos no sound. I'm deaf. Okay, that's it.
What sound? Yes, it was loud, and until today I selected the most noisy films, and some of them it's not so loud. All the time when I'm editing the film, I don't use any sound. I feel the rhythm and some energy from my body, and keep watching and watching again and edit again, and react for my own film when I'm editing. And after that, I imagine what kind of the sound will fit with each film, and it's the why loud is really difficult, but I needed that because I'm thinking about the experience of the cinema. I think I'm making film, not video installation. No, my main purpose is using cinema and the experience for the audience. So, for me, the sound and image is not so different. It naturally happens. I will show my latest film with I will show in November. That film was made for my deaf friend. Because when I met my friend, she told me she loses her hearing sense. So and I thought that maybe she cannot watch and feel my film anymore. But, so first my idea was making a silent film for her, but I decided to make only using 1,000 hertz under the sound of under the 1,000 hertz. So the sound comes from. You have to use the ear. So I'm really caring about the physicality of the digital cinema. So before, until I used only films, I didn't thought about that. But I had to shift my activity everything to digital. I started thinking about what is a cinematic experience, what is the unique experience of cinema, and then I started getting for the film, and this kind of approach. So and the sound is very physical experience, and so echo. So that's why I'm using sounds. And some films are very silent. It depends on the words.
That's a cosmos sound.
Thank you. Takashi. Maybe another audience?
Thank you. Actually, I had a question for both of you, curator and artist. Do you prefer screening your film in an exhibition hall or in a theater, just like this the place? Because I think they are quite different feeling. If the screening in the theater, all of the audience, we just sitting here very silently and immersively to get to take the feelings of your work. But if you work screening just playing exhibition hall, especially for some group show, maybe the audience they just randomly walked into the site, or they just take very fragment of your work. So which one do you prefer for curator and the artist? Question.
Thank you.
That is a very critical question. I'm always thinking about that, and because I'm showing my work at the art museum, galleries, and also cinema. But always when I make a film, I'm thinking about showing that at the cinema, because the horror film is I did do a sound mix for the 5.1 sound, surround sound. Today was stereo. But, so every time the situation is very difficult. If the group show comes, the offer comes, but every time I go there and discuss with the people, I do my best. But the cinema is the best place. I did a retrospective in Japan last month. It was spaces like this, not cinema, but I made a cinema gallery. So every time, yes. still do the best. And sometimes I re-add it to the other installation because the installation of the gallery is very different experience.
Terima kasih. Maybe for me, thank you for the question. I am in position to say that I personally choose the cinema setting, but for an exhibition, of course, we have to, as the curators, I and Dito should select the best treatment to film or choose one works that can work out beside to the ideas of the exhibition, also to the dramaturgy of the exhibition, and why I chose Takashi's work on generation and corruption. Of course, beside how it expand the idea of photographic, but it's also can in the dramaturgy of all things. It serves as maybe as a point of reflection in the gallery, in the exhibition setting, and how, of course, we have to treat the cinematic works that is firstly not intended to show in the gallery, but we have to give, of course, what Takashi said, give the best setting to stop people to look for 20 minutes, for 5 minutes, and then, or maybe 1 hour, like or 9 hours, like Lavdia's installation. But also, and we actually I have experience to view one of 8 hours cinema installation in Jakarta. It's filmed by Kevin Jerome Everson, an American anthropologist, a black American, and he uses its 8 hours to look on how the people are building a bowling arena in the US, and it is curated by Oti Widasari in 2016 in Archipel Jakarta International Documentary and Experimental Film Festival. And then how Oti chooses Kevin Jerome Everson's film to depict how the 8 hours labor work. It's a very fit to the how she chose to show it, no interruption, and in 8 hours, from I think from 10 to 6, I don't know, from 1 to 9. But yeah, that is my position in how I chose cinema and film in gallery. Thank you for the question. Silakan.
Selamat malam, makasih banyak kesempatannya, dan terima kasih juga buat experience to watch this video film. Actually, for me, I have a similar experience to see things like this before, and in some of my meditation session gitu. But what difference is in this di waktu ini aku lihat dan aku bisa berefleksi lebih jauh soal gimana kita maksudnya gimana kesadaran kita itu selalu mencari gitu, kayak ini itu bentuk apa dan apa gitu. Sedangkan yang di sebelumnya, maksudnya waktu aku lihat mengalami visualisasi yang serupa gitu di sesi meditasi, ya aku terpukau dengan keindahannya gitu. Jadi aku mau makasih banyak karena kesempatan ini bikin aku bisa mengambil jarak gitu dari fenomena ini. Terus ternyata yang terjadi itu adalah kesadaran itu selalu ingin tahu dan nggak bisa menerima aja gitu, nggak bisa. Ya itu sih. Jadi dan informasinya terutama yang disampaikan di awal dan dibahas di akhir ini sangat insightful, memperkaya banget. Udah gitu, terima kasih buat Jovis dan buat kasih.
Makasih banyak. Tadi siapa mas namanya? So he shared his impression about the film. Boleh.
Oh iya.
He shared his impression about the film experience. He reflects it with his experience in meditation session. So he really likes the film that can relate to his meditation experience, and that we should stop and look for the beauty of the images. So he really likes your film. Oh, Zikri. Okay, the last question. Zikri.
Kamu terjemahin ya? Aku ngomong bahasa Indonesia. Apa kalau misalnya tadi Lutfan mengatakan bahwa pengalaman menonton karya-karya Takashi lebih menyasar orientasi subjektif dari penonton. Aku pribadi mencoba melihatnya untuk menginterpretasi dalam konteks yang lebih objektif. Bahwa kalau misalnya di dalam sejarah teoretik tentang film, biasanya kan ada dua visi yang disasar oleh film itu. Pengalaman ekstasis dalam arti kapan penonton itu mencapai titik dramatik ketika menonton film atau menonton image, sama efek kinestetik dalam artian ketika image itu sudah diinterpretasi, yang bereaksi itu bukan hanya indera modern, tetapi juga pengalaman tubuh gitu, dalam artian yang harfiah. Nah, tapi kalau dilihat lebih jauh kan sebenarnya dalam konteks bagaimana citra dibicarakan secara abstrak, gitu, dia tidak lagi bertumpu pada sesuatu yang sifatnya figuratif atau representasional, gitu. Image itu didistorsi atau dipecahkan. Kita biasanya selalu berurusan dengan tiga persoalan. Pertama, pengalaman spiritual. Yang kedua adalah pengalaman saintifik, dalam arti citra diukur secara matematis. Yang ketiga adalah jati diri dari citra itu sendiri atau dunia piktorial yang bekerja. Nah, dalam konteks karya Takashi, aku pikir dia mendemonstrasikan yang citra kekuatan piktorial itu, bagaimana citra itu bekerja di dalam benak penonton, tetapi tanpa menghadirkan sesuatu yang sifatnya representasional. Dan aku pikir karya-karya Takashi tidak hanya penting dalam konteks bagaimana dia dihadirkan di ruang sinema sebagai film, tetapi dalam konteks live performance misalnya, permainan tentang bagaimana citra itu kemudian direspon menggunakan sound, dan sound itu bersifat tidak ilustratif gitu. Seperti tadi Takashi sudah bilang bahwa dia mengukur citra yang ada di layar, kemudian direspon sebagai sesuatu yang sifatnya sensasional. Jadi sensasi tubuh atau sensasi benaknya yang bekerja. Di situ aku pikir dia masuk ke tahap kinestetik, dalam artian kalau di bukunya Stanislas Lemmy itu kan disebut dengan estetika haptik. Bagaimana kita menilai citra itu secara pengalaman tatapan yang sifatnya ketubuhan, bukan hanya indera penglihatan. Dan dalam konteks ini misalnya kehadiran device semacam proyektor analog itu tidak hanya semata sebagai alat untuk memproses citra, tetapi bunyi ker dari analog itu juga menjadi bagian dari pengalaman tubuh penonton. Itu komentar saya tentang karya Takashi. Nah, terkait itu saya justru jadi bertanya gitu kepada Takashi yang selama ini dalam konteks produksi filmnya bekerja dengan analog. dan kemudian dalam presentasinya dia mengkombinasikan analog dengan digital dengan gaya gambar yang seperti itu, mengingat perkembangan hari ini di mana image itu sudah luar biasa menjadi sesuatu yang sangat sehari-hari, tidak lagi mengacu pada sifat sinema atau ruang galeri, tapi dia ada di keseharian kita, di genggaman kita, di handphone dengan banyak distorsi. Itu bagaimana Takashi melihat situasi itu sekarang itu dalam kaitannya dengan praktik artistiknya. Itu. Terima kasih.
Pantes nggak ngomong bahasa Inggris. Maunya pantes nggak ngomong bahasa Inggris.
Thank you Zikri for the critical impression and the question. So Zikri tells his impression about how. So I told the audience that maybe Takashi's film works on subjective level, and Zikri tries to see the film as objective, as objectively as he could. And he said that from the objective side, there is two goals in experiencing film or making film. That is one, to search the ecstasies, how the moment or the dramaturgy when you get some kind of cathartic experience with the film, and the second is the bodily experience, how your body, the whole of your body relates to the film. So when we talk about abstract words, we always have three experiences. So the first one is spiritual, it's very subjective. The second is scientific, how the images are mathematically composed and how it works on the mathematical construction. And then the third is how the pictorial identity of the images works in audience's head. So Zikri said that Takashi's level demonstrate how the pictorial identity of the images work in the head of the audiences. So that's Zikri thought about how Takashi's films work on the how we perceive the images, how the abstract images ignites or spark another way of thinking about the images. So, and I think Zikri thinks it's important to how Takashi's works doesn't work only on cinematic setting, but it's also, we can see like today from the live performances, Takashi also used the sound to engage our body, our whole body. How Takashi also described how he orchestrated the sound to kick people in the chest, and then how that entire experience of the film performance, including how he combines the analog projector. We can see that the 16mm projectors that is now can be found easily, and how he combines the analog with the digital projectors, and then also how he orchestrates the sound live with his sound stocks, and how it engages our body. So that is the most important and maybe objective things if we see the Takashi's work, and that is how important his work is to our references now. So, and Zikri have question for him, one question about when you work with films all this time and then you switch to digitals, and also now in this performance you combine the analog projectors and the digital projectors. it sparks Zikri's question about how the digital reality now that digital have also distorted our way of seeing, of our way of existing, and that phenomena, how that phenomena influence your practice of works now. Yeah.
Yes, I used the film footage, the film celluloid as a shooting format until 2016. But I switched everything to the digital. I had to do that because I used to work as the oldest cinema film lab in Japan as a colorist and as a technician. And then the company stopped the film processing, and now Japan only 2 companies do film processing. And then I thought many filmmakers did some protest and demonstration to Kodak and Fujifilm please making the film. But then I thought that is a bit strange to me because why artists have to depend on the product? So artists have to make our own way always. So sometimes I feel I'm thinking about what I did if I was born 1,000 years ago, 100 years ago. What I would do if I was born 100 years later. And then think about what I could and what I cannot do. And then my own thought is very sharp and clear. And then I thought about maybe I don't have to depend on the film footage anymore. And I know film is very beautiful, but after it took more than 10 years to completely shift to the digital because it's different, totally different. So that's why I decided when I do education at so many film schools, every time I use start making collages first, and next we make film footages, and in the end we make a film collage work as a film, as a cinema. So still now I'm still very thinking about the film and digital program, and I decided I use both in the performance as much as I could. Maybe in the near future I cannot do this anymore, but I'm still trying. So thanks for bringing the project from Jakarta. It's still possible. So then I do. Yes. I did a group exhibition in Japan 2 years ago. It was about the title was New Photographic Objects. And me and other 4 photographers did the exhibition. And then everybody was like around 30, 35 years old. And everyone didn't use a film. But the final result of the exhibition was very physical, and they tried to make images from the digital images. It was interesting. I really understood what they're doing because after the photograph is changed to the digital, people don't satisfy about the exhibition. So that's why young people try many things about how to print not wallpaper but more steel or other things, more concrete or make photo collage, and try to make a physical experience. So yeah, I think the many artists still fighting and thinking about that. For me, not trying to look at but not trying to get the digital also. So what I can do in this area.
It's a strong idea. Thank you, Takashi, for sharing that with us. So maybe salah satu yang penting juga ya mungkin tadi Takashi bilang bahwa one of the important thing also Takashi talk about how he chose not to shoot the film in 3D because he didn't want to direct himself, direct the audience experience by shooting to precise positioning of 3D, but he chose to give you the filters and then make the movement yourself. I think it's also very new idea about how he make the images, make the viewing experience as democratic as possible. I think it's also a challenge for our art also, how the people and how the audience and how the artists make dialogues with that kind of participation. So maybe I think it's enough. So thank you, friends, for attending this session. Thank you so much. And then Jovis masih ada 1 hari lagi, besok bisa nonton filmnya Takashi di lantai 2. Maybe you can bring also Takashi gave the filters to you as a souvenir from Japan.
We can use that filter when you are in the car or train or something. When you watch something, keep moving in one direction. And if you hide one eye, the landscape is 3D. And it's very strange because it's different. So please try.
Please do try, and then you can bring your filters to RJK Tamsi and then see the on generation and corruption with those filters. It works also. So thank you, friends. See you maybe tomorrow at the Katamsi exhibition. Thank you.
Jika masih duduk, tetaplah duduk. Takashi, please. Lutfan, on the center. We will take a picture. Just one picture or 2 pictures, please. Filternya boleh dipakai. Gini guys, buat ngeliat dia. Terima kasih banyak untuk teman-teman yang sudah hadir di malam hari ini. Benar, besok masih ada 1 hari lagi untuk menikmati Jogja Photographic Festival. Oh iya, di depan akan ada survei. Kami memohon sedikit waktunya lagi untuk mengisi survei dari support funding kami, Japan Foundation. Kertasnya bisa diambil di tempat pendapat.